Welcome you all to the North American Division headquarters for the GAIN conference. We're delighted to have all of you here, and we are so glad that GC Communication picked our location to have this event. So welcome to all of you, and thank you for being here. So anyway, this is going to be telling our story when tried and true methods meet newer technologies, and this is also my perspective as a new communication director. First off, communication is such a broad category that it is sometimes hard to pinpoint what we do in our ministry department. And as a fairly new director, I noticed that we are really a hybrid. So we kind of serve as a ministry, but we're also a service to the division. And so I'm sure that's the case for many of you that do communication as a ministry. What we do falls into three broad categories. Those are brand caretakers, NAD storytellers, and mentors. Before I go into that, though, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about kind of a context and where my philosophy is being somewhat new to this role. These words can be like x-rays if you use them properly. They'll go through anything. You read and you're pierced. And then a quote from Ellen White, counsels to writers and editors. Our energy should be devoted to the publication of literature of the purest quality and the most elevating character. The great object of our publications is to exalt God, to call men's attention to the living truths of His Word. God calls upon us to lift up not our own standard, not the standard of this world, but His standard of truth. I cannot say this enough. If we are telling the workings of God with and through His people, we are sharing stories that should inspire the reader or the viewer or the listener. We should be working to tell stories that would inspire the reader, the viewer, or the listener. Now, part of my approach in this role is to ask these three questions. And they are, what is the call to action in what I'm doing? What do I want that reader or viewer to take with them? And what do I want them to do with what I've written or produced? These, to me, are the three most important things that kind of will bring that audience to that next level, which is a lot different than what we do in secular media. All right, so the mission statement for the North American Division is to reach North America and the world with the distinctive Christ-centered Seventh-day Adventist message of hope and wholeness. So what we are ambassadors of Jesus Christ, bringing the Adventist message of hope and wholeness to others, to our audiences, which include church members, church leadership, and our communities. While our primary audience is not external, we do not operate in a bubble. You know that things are on the internet. Most of our content we put on the internet and, of course, on social media. And so I just wanted to touch on that. I'm going to stop the preaching side of things now and get into some of these topics. The NAD approach, as I had mentioned, are brand caretaker, storyteller, and mentor. Those are kind of the three areas that I see what we do falling into. First, as brand caretakers, we care for the visual identity, and it was great to have the people come before me, Costin and Siku especially. It's like we planned this thing because we are talking about that visual identity and what is brand and how we are those caretakers and ambassadors. So what we do in our department, communication and PR, is we recommend that the official church entities use the Adventist Church logo in any official capacities representing the church. And we do provide the resources for this on our website for our institutions and our entities within the division. And for expanded uses, we share the ALP system, including what is on the GC website under brand. Now, that brings me to what brand is, and as Costin really eloquently pointed out, brand is a little more elusive, and it's really about the feeling that people have towards something or someone. So think about McDonald's, for example. People will see the what? the golden arches, right? And they trust that what they will find there is a certain type of food and a certain type of service. Now, it's not always cookie cutter, but you pretty much know what you're going to get when you walk in those doors. And that visual identity of those golden arches is an expression of their brand promise. Likewise, our visual identity in the church is an expression of our brand promise. And the church in North America strives to be seen as trusted, there's one of those touch point words, relevant, compassionate, and Christ-centered. We support this through a consistent use of, and this might sound weird, but we support it through a consistent use of color palette, our business system, our church signage, and other things, because they all are interrelated. And as brand caretakers, we also care for the corporate website and the NAD's corporate messaging. With the website, we manage the brand through the careful management of the content. We want to make sure that ministries and departments are highlighted. We also have church governance and statements that we put there, our NAD directory for staff. We also have an interactive church map that we have on our website that's updated all the time. And we have online church service listed as well. So that's just a couple of the things that we have on our website. And now with the corporate messaging, we also provide, like I said, church statements and talk about special initiatives. And one of those, you guys may see this, I know it's probably a little tiny, but this is the Great Controversy Project Initiative. And in 2021, Elder Ted Wilson, our GC president, had mentioned at the ASI convention that we were going to be launching a new effort to get the Great Controversy into the hands of Adventists and non-Adventists. And so we have adapted and customized a approach that we feel will work really well for North America. And that's one of the things that we highlight on our website and actually on social media as well. So the next thing I'm going to talk about, we are NAD storytellers through Adventist Journey magazine, NAD News Points, and also our network project media, which, who knows the network projects by now? I think you guys have heard some of that. Anyone? What are network projects? Well, those are a collaboration between different world divisions of the Adventist Church. And we produce content. We partner together. So around the world, you have content, whether it's books, short form videos, narratives, documentaries. We've been working together on that. I'm going to keep going. Because I want to get to Adventist Journey, which is one of my favorite things. So I'm the editor of Adventist Journey. And if you look at the covers there, you'll notice something. I hope you'll notice something. In addition to having different people featured, does anyone notice anything else that's different? I'll make this a little more interactive because I know it's the last presentation of the day. The logos, yes, thank you, the writing. Each logo of each magazine is different because it reflects the handwriting and journey of the person being featured. So you'll never see one magazine the same as the other. And this was kind of an innovative idea that we had. And not only is that the featured person, the story is always a video. Sometimes it's print and sometimes it's not, but we always are committed to doing a video story each month. The premise behind the magazine is that we will share our corporate content, but we will also highlight those journeys of the average Adventist, which those stories really can serve to encourage us, enrich us, and bless others as we share them. Our goal is to make the magazine a multi-platform so that it will be a print publication, an online resource, a video experience, and a social media event each month. We barely scratched the surface on this, in my opinion, but we're working toward developing some more of that content. The wishes are plenty, sometimes the workers are few. So we are working on that. You guys know how it is with the budgets and the workers. But we want to move in that direction, and we're actually in the middle of developing an audio podcast as well, so people can listen. And right now I am running out of time, but I'm just going to show you a little bit. I had a couple minutes, clips that were about 2 minutes each. I'm going to drastically make them smaller, but just so you can get an idea of some of the content that we produce for Adventist Journey in video form.
I'm Adrian Timothy Zitkoski. I go by Tim. I've been an Adventist educator for 43 years. I'm currently the history teacher at Monterey Bay Academy. My great-great-grandfather somehow found the Battle Creek Sanitarium and became an Adventist. And he was Adrian Zitkoski. And my grandfather was an Adventist educator. My father was an Adventist educator, and I'm an Adventist educator. And so I was born into Adventism.
Everybody go with Josh? He says that who is our vice president?
All right, I'm going to skip ahead. Again, all of these, I don't think I mentioned this yet, but all of this material is available on our Vimeo page as well as at nadadventist.org under the Adventist Journey tab. You can play the videos right from our website and scroll through the PDF.
Nicole Brachet. I am originally from Plano, Texas, which is a little town outside of Dallas, and I'm currently living here in Massachusetts, in Sturbridge, Massachusetts, with my family. And then we have the Veganist Cafe in Worcester and Clinton. Growing up in Texas, you know, sort of big on farming and cattle and all of that. So my kindergarten field trip was to a slaughterhouse. And going through that experience, I was absolutely horrified and made the decision that day that I was going to be completely vegan, completely plant-based. I didn't know what it was. I was only 5 years old, but I just had decided and felt very convicted that I wanted to, you know, abstain from eating animals. And as I continued to grow, I started focusing also on the environmental impact, on the health impact, all of these different aspects of why I personally felt that it was so important to, you know, abstain from eating certain things. And being a Christian, I had never really made that connection. Fast forward to my early 20s when I met my husband, who was raised Seventh-day Adventist, and he explained to me, oh, well, you know, this is something that actually my church really believes in terms of eating very healthy and being very mindful, and there's actually a strong spiritual component. And this is when we were dating, and I started studying more about that. And I always say I really found my experience of how to live for God in that, because I was like, wow, people who love Jesus and don't eat meat, these are my people. And
all right, so she was a lot of fun to talk with. But as you can see, we do try to provide a variety of people and interviews as part of that Adventist Journey experience. The second thing I wanted to talk to you about in terms of that storyteller is NAD News Points. Through that, of course, it's our e-news service. So what you typically would imagine through an e-news service, we weekly provide news and information features, division statements, and all of that packaged in a newsletter that we send out. That's to a subscriber list, and it also appears on our social media. That's our main vehicle for our weekly news distribution. And so this is just a sample of some of the features in that. Next, I wanted to share with you and again, I'm going to shrinkerize, make smaller these clips. First one will be from the recent PBE event, Pathfinder Bible Experience. It's basically like a Bible Bowl where our Pathfinders across the division and some international clubs come and get tested on a book of the Bible that they've been studying for the year. And I'm going to go ahead and show that, followed then by a different format on the Oakwood Adventist Academy basketball team. and their experiences in the past year.
The 2023 Pathfinder Bible Experience Division Finals were held on April 22 in Tampa Bay, Florida. Numbers again reached near record levels with 152 teams testing in person and 3 teams testing online. After the record attendance of over 200 teams at the 2019 finals, followed by 2 years of virtual finals due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this year, close to 4,000 Pathfinders, their supporters, and event volunteers filled the Florida State Fairgrounds Expo Hall, where the students answered questions on the biblical book of John.
What I love about the book of John is what it says and what it communicates about the life of Jesus and the ministry of Jesus. And it's such a description, a great description of Christ's ministry and his life. And it puts him in terms and ways that they can understand and appreciate and can apply to their lives today. It's called a nonsense, not.
C'est vraiment une belle expérience de mémoriser la parole de Dieu, puis c'est aussi une belle expérience de participer avec plein d'amis, puis c'est juste très enrichissant de le faire.
It's just a great experience to do it with your friends, and also it's just fun to learn and memorize Jesus's like gospel and stuff. So she just thinks it's enriching.
All right, so that's a quick sample of that material that does appear in News Points. The final thing, I will not go into a big detail on this, but I did mention the network projects, and that's something that we also do storytelling with. And one of the features that we just finished, Julio mentioned it this morning, those were the good days. It's a short feature film with a father and daughter, and the experience of lessons learned about how we spend our time and what we do with our family. So we hope to continue and grow in these ways as we share stories on social media and on the internet and streaming platforms to people around the world. I mentioned as the last topic would be mentors and how we mentor. And so I'm going to briefly touch base on Sunscreen Film Festival. Who was here for the Sunscreen presentation this morning? Awesome. Most of you were here. That's great. So I will not belabor that, but that's a place where we connect with our young adults in creative projects, and we also provide that mentorship when we work with them on those projects and at the film festival. We provide that. Also, Society of Adventist Communicators. Who here knows what Society of Adventist Communicators is, SAC? I see a few hands and a few friendly faces. That is our annual convention, and it's a communication training, networking event with expert presenters, worship moments, awards banquet, and lots of student engagement. And so while it is centered around the professional communicator, whether they work for the church or they work outside of the church, but they're that Adventist communicator, it is tailored for them. However, we provide opportunities that are geared toward the students at those events, including some training. They can go and get some counsel on resume building and interviewing. They can also, some people walk away with jobs from those events. So that is really important to us. And what we do is we give these young college students and university students creative opportunities, networking, job opportunities. I wanted to show you this slide really quickly as I get close to wrapping up. Article on the left there is written by a university student, and he does not work or does not go to an Adventist institution, but he is a writer, and we gave him the opportunity to cover one of our events. And then the slide on the right is a cover of one of our magazines, and this was done by an Andrews University student. Actually, 2 Andrews University students. One shot the video, and one did the picture. And as you can see, she did a great job on capturing Taurus Montgomery. There is a lot I see ahead that we need to do in communication at the division. I do have a giant bucket list of things that I would like to accomplish that includes more content creation and actually standardizing some of our communication systems. But I'm not going to get into all of that right now. I just wanted to end with this slide that showcases our Sunscreen and SAC young people. We have young writers and videographers and photographers and filmmakers and social media experts that we work with on projects for the division, and we need to do more of that. I am passionate about involving the young and the more seasoned together in using those tried and true models of communication with the newer technologies to reach out to the younger generations and involve everyone. We endeavor here at the division to encourage and mentor our young creatives in choosing to find ways to make a positive impact in our world for God's glory and honor. And I am privileged to be here and blessed. So thank you.